Oh, yeah, listen. All right, look.
Hey,
This is our show here.
No, let's really start this the way this really happens, okay? I am not the host of this show. So first and foremost,
Well,
just
you were
because I
talking.
take over
I'm not going
everything.
to interrupt you when you're going. You're the dude signing the paychecks. So I
Just wanted to fill the chair.
hey,
But,
yeah.
it's
So
like-
this is Brendan from Comic Con. It has been a wild day today. This is the smallest of all the days because I know that it builds from here, and we've had some really amazing announcements from Ixo American, and I mean, everything that's happened on this stage has been fascinating to me. With
Yes.
Neverland up there and the stuff that they're talking about, and those little remote-controlled tanks that do the
Green
Dude,
light.
Can we have those up here? Oh, you already packed them away. They have 1/64th tanks that are remote-controlled, that have infrared, that you can play laser tag with. Where was that when I was 12 years old?
I know it's
It's like everyone's dream.
right. So let's
Yeah.
real quick. This is Fred Tucker. Fred Tucker's been with Diecast SuperCon for quite some time. Fred is the only person in the building that can deal with me on a day-to-day basis, so he's the one that got assigned to me.
I love it. I love it. It's
Congratulations, Fred.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, and I want to say, too, we put a lot of focus on the manufacturers that are here and the sellers that are here and the talent that's on stage. But I want you to know that every single person that's wearing one of these shirts, these are the guys who are making everything happen, that are making sure that the tables are set up and that people are where they need to be, and that all of our technical problems are getting fixed and all of that stuff. So every one of these guys, I want to say thank you. We see you.
Thank you.
And I mean, I don't think I've ever been sitting here with a dead battery or something where somebody's not running up and fixing it for me immediately. So Johnny on the spot, every one of these guys, huge thanks. Thank you so much for everything you're contributing to the show. It's
Absolutely. We love being here, and I'm sure I speak for all the staff. It's a pleasure to be here and help this thing run and function.
Well, multiple years ago when I came in and we got going in the first event that I was actually going to be in, so being brought in as the director of operations for the show, I identified that Fred was the perfect fit for me at that time.
Nice.
And so for me, it was a perfect, marriage made, the way it should be because of the fact that he could just understand what I needed in a moment, and he would do that, make it happen. So what people don't see behind the scenes is this guy runs up, and before I take the stage, he makes sure I got a water bottle. He runs back, takes stuff to the room and does it for me. He'll go and say, hey, whatever. The day before the convention, he's texting me from Walmart, hey, I'm picking up snacks. What do you need? What do you want? He really takes care of me. But it's important for me to have that because we get going so much, especially when you think about how our team's built. I think it's important to express that we have a really great core team of people that are making this event flow and run. And it starts right here on the floor with the guys that deal with all of our vendors, right? So Jason Ryder and David Zwern, I got to give them a lot of credit, right? Because they deal with all the vendor floor, the setup, the load-ins, the load-outs, the intricacies of all of that. And then you turn to another area and then go to registration. Registration, Lauren Lisa, our CEO, she goes and oversees that, and she's got the whole team, both for merch and everything in there, and they're buzzing and doing their thing. And then you turn back to the stage, Mad Mike has the stage, dialed in, and he's working with Aaron from Go Live Vegas, who provides all of our streaming. And he's sitting here, and they've got this whole cooperative built together. So by the time we get to the different pockets of everything, and then I should mention too, our activations team, who does all of our games. So they're the ones that come in. They've got all the prizes. They activate, make sure it works. They work with Mad Mike's team. Mad Mike's team works with me to make sure that the timing on things works out and goes. So by the time we get to this spot, a lot of times you'd be like, there's so much going on. How do you do it? I'll tell you how you do it. You have great people in the right place making things happen. And that's what this is about. And that's how this show really operates.
Well, and I want to say this chair right here is a great example because this desk has been here all day, and I'm sitting there looking, there was no chair, and I'm like, hey, can I get a chair? And then they brought out a folding chair, and I was like, I don't think that's going to work. That's going to hurt me. And then about an hour later, this chair shows up, and this is all before the show even opens. And so I'm sitting up here like Elvis in this chair because these guys are working so hard to make sure that it, and I mean, I'm stealing this chair. This is going to my truck before I drive back to
He's
Bakersfield.
gonna take it on
okay.
the plane with him. He's
I don't
like,
know if this shows up on camera, but there's little like diamonds in these little
No,
pockets.
it's fancy for sure. It's fancy, like, and that's, something that I completely missed that I should talk about is the fact that the team here at the Ahern has an incredible staff that from their security staff, the activation staff, the front desk staff, and leadership working with us to provide things like that. To bring the chair and say, hey, we've got a great solution for you. Let's make this happen. Let's help you with some of the stuff that we have going on the show floor. Their sound techs and their AV department working with the different vendors that we have and sponsors to execute what their visions are and to make this happen. Because when you look at what this facility ends up becoming when we're here, it's a full immersive experience. And it starts when outside we've got great digital graphics that are promoting the show, and our friends at Neverland have provided some incredible stuff.
Now, I got to correct you here because I've never known this company as anything other than Neverland. But those guys were on this stage not an hour ago, and they say Neverland.
I know, but they're from Florida, so listen, that's the reason for it. Now, you know what? Hey, look.
It's not Graceland. This isn't Elvis's house.
Graceland?
Although this could be his chair.
Graceland?
No, Elvis, it was never Graceland. He would correct people and tell them it's Graceland.
Right.
Graceland.
So,
Graceland. So I got a little Elvis in me. I don't know. Hey.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
never do that again, by the way. That was the
all right,
one and only time.
we had an incredible first day, and this feels like a little bit of a practice run because it's, the Thursday it's a lower attendance. Going into the weekend, we're going to have more people at the gate on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What are some of the things that you're looking forward to tomorrow, Friday?
Well, I mean, the first thing is that Jermaine Bodie is here from No Prep Kings and Street Outlaws. And this is the first appearance of him signing in a diecast event or a diecast space. So it's exciting to bring one of these guys that their entire makeup is to get in these crazy custom built race cars and risk their life on the streets like they do, racing for pink slips and for, personal equity and whatever it is, right? So to have him come out to this event and to see how excited he is to be here, he can't wait to take the floor tomorrow with everybody. Like, I'm looking forward to that. Two, we have such great support from manufacturers. So if you say, what am I looking for? Well, tonight, the cartoon party. Right? Last night, the Neverland VIP experience.
Neverland.
Friday, IXO America, right? Saturday, our title sponsor, Jada, and the supporting sponsor, Majorette from them. Like, being able to, go to these events and get in the building with them in a casual atmosphere. There's drinks, there's music. DJ Mikey from Nike comes in and really drives up.
You're not going to stop pushing Mikey from Nike, are you?
Always, Mikey from Nike. And, and doing this, but, so when you look forward to these things, every day there's stuff to look forward to, and you think of tomorrow night, and you think of the things. Now, if you ask me one specific, event for tomorrow night, it's Ladies' Night. And the reason being is because the Ladies' Night event was something that I was very, very supportive of in saying, we need to make this happen. What should we do? How do we do it? And Lauren and our team at House of Cars, Melinda Bly, and the support with CJ, and then what we were putting together with our sponsors, they have such an incredible experience that they do. So this is the first time that we're doing this kind of party. And what this is the Ladies' Nights, it's a bedazzling party. So they're bedazzling diecast at the party, and then it's sponsored by Neverland that has a exclusive.
It's the first time he's ever said the name of the company correctly. First time.
And so they have an exclusive that is available only at the Ladies' Night event, and only women can attend. And then at the same time, they have a exclusive Scummy Bear that is an exclusive colorway that's only available to the women at this event, giving the women in the diecast hobby and experience their own event, their own exclusives.
And not just an event, but an experience. That's something where you can bring them in and they have a full-on experience. They're not just here, carrying the bags for their husbands like that. Like that's something they can experience and take away from that and share.
And that
a lot of
inclusivity
friends.
is something that you've been doing at One of Us Comics and realizing that women want space in these spaces that have been dominated for so long by men. You know, it's the car industry, it's the collectibles, it's the toy industry, and that is something that I've seen you working on in multiple spaces that you have your hands in.
It's always important to me to empower the people that are around you, and I don't care if it's men, women, kids, whatever it can be. We're always looking for ways on how you can like bring up the people around you, and I just look for those opportunities, and I hope that I provide that at some level in my life, that at least I can walk away and say, hey, somebody else got this experience because I was able to help provide it or encourage it or build it, right? So from that standpoint, that's how this built. And look, 3 years ago, we did the first Ladies Night. It was a wine and paint event. And we brought out an artist, and she provided women with the experience of how to paint and how to do these things. And they had wine, and they did. And you had manufacturers' wives come out to the event. You had vendors who their wives were supporting them and here came out to the event. You had attendees, which, just like you said, it's not just about carrying the stuff around and doing that. It was actually an event and experience for them. Then last year, Melinda Bly, our director of retail for House of Cars, she came in and she built a whole custom bone shaker kit to build your own and customize your own, and it had all kind of stickers and all that stuff and everything. And then we were at Magical Weekend of Cars in Orlando, and they did a ladies-only trade night where the only way you could get the exclusive car was to trade with the women. So you had to bring your items to trade to get the exclusives, the only way you got it. And then here we are now this year with the Bedazzling event. So for me to see the empowerment of the women that are direct within our business, and look, when I tell you this, our CEO is a woman, right? So it's easy for that to get lost, that she's the one that this whole thing is built behind, right? And then for her and her husband, CJ, to support and then build and grow that up to what this has become, and then to see these Ladies' Nights events come together. So yes, the Ladies' Night is absolutely the one thing. The other side of that would be, and again, I know this is a wrap-up show and we're talking about tomorrow, but hey, look, there's so much to look forward to. We have a new activation sponsored by Jada Toys called Drinks with Designers. So right after Ladies' Night, there's this exclusive social with the different designers from the different manufacturers that are going to be coming out and hanging out. And Chef Joel Ott of Joel's Chop House upstairs created a exclusive pairing menu of chocolates and beverages. And that pairing menu, you come out, you purchase your spot, you get a box of chocolates. They're all blind boxed. Each one has different chocolates in it. Joel's going to come out. He'll share the pairing menu and how it works. Hey, there's 6 cocktails or 8 cocktails and 8 different chocolates, and this one works. It's how they work together. And you get to then open your box and say, oh my gosh, okay, here's the pairing menu. Let me go get my drink at the bar. But on top of that, Jada came up with this crazy idea to put in golden tickets. Well, the golden tickets, they wanted to elevate them. So what they did is they got with Chef Joel. Joel said, I can do it. And they have gold chocolates in the box. So each box comes with 2 truffle-style chocolates, right? You purchase your spot, you get your box, you open it up, and if you got the 2 gold chocolates, you're getting one of 4 special prizes from Jada, which include a gold Lamborghini from Fast and the Furious, which happened to be Tyrese's car. And it just happens to be signed by Tyrese. And then they
Which
also
is no
have,
small feat, by the way. Tyrese
Yeah.
is not an easy signature to get.
No, Tyrese does not like to sign. He just doesn't. And then another item that's in there is one of their prototypes. So these are the type of items and events. When I see a manufacturer come up with something cool, do something fun, and create something that's really unique to the space. And when you think about it, Jada coming to us and talking and creating this, how cool is it that you have someone like this in the die-cast manufacturing space look and say, let's do something for all of our competitors to be part of. That doesn't happen in a lot of industries, but that's what makes this space so unique, that the guys that work from one company to another have relationships, experiences, crossovers. We just talked about that today. You had Ixo America take the stage and talk about their exclusive and then also the items that are being released in their brand new diecast line. Then Neverland comes in, and then they announce that not only was there an exclusive with IXO, but that there was an IXO Neverland crossover exclusive that is now available upstairs in the Neverland
Which I
suite.
just went up there and saw. I can afford nothing in that booth whatsoever because everything's tied to. Well, I can actually. There's Scummy Bears that are like $20 and things like that up there. But
Got price
you know,
points for all kids.
But I saw the IXO America and I was like, oh, this is the cool thing. And they're like, yeah, but that also has the NFT tied to it, so it's tied to blockchain and all the things they were explaining on this stage. And I actually learned about a little bit more about NFTs because they're up there and they have a way of just kind of breaking it down. It's like, if you're scared of NFT, if you don't know what it is, if you don't understand, let's talk about it a little bit. And you go, oh, okay, well, that's dumbed down just enough for me to understand what you're trying to do here.
Well, and that's how they launched, and that was good. And Fred, you'll remember that when they launched, there were so many guys that were like, NFTs, there's no way, I don't like it, whatever.
Yeah, it was new and scary at that point still.
And by the time the
It's
show was
taken
over,
off.
what happened?
Yeah, they were sold out, and they've been going ever since.
I mean,
and,
they
and
were.
you look at them now, years later, it's a huge success, and their platform has just skyrocketed to what they're bringing to the table. And again, it's the experience. It's not just buying something; it's an experience that you get to interactivate with and use.
No, and exactly.
The
right?
way that they explain it too is it's kind of a chain of command. It's provenance. You've got a digital provenance of where your product came from, your NFT, your physical that's attached to the NFT, who's had it, how many times it's sold, what it's sold for, and it's all right there for insurance purposes, for trading purposes, for authenticity. It makes a lot of sense the way that they've explained it. I've never heard it explained that way before.
Yeah, and just wait because crazy guy here has a concept with them that even brings that to another level. But that's for another show. In fact, but I do want to point this out before we take it too farther. And then when Neverland goes, then Greenlight comes in behind and starts explaining all of their cool stuff. And oh, by the way, there was a Neverland and a Greenlight crossover that was also done at the show as well. Hence the reason why you had those three in that order on the stage, because Neverland was the glue in between to elevate a release exclusive to the show with these companies, with IXO and with Greenlight. So to see that happen, you in other spaces, think about this. Would McDonald's ever do a crossover with Burger King?
Arby's or something.
No, right? You don't see it in other industries, but in this industry, it makes a lot of sense.
I mean, you do though, you do and you don't, because you're saying McDonald's and Burger King. It wouldn't happen like that, but
okay, McDonald's and
But McDonald's,
Texas Roadhouse.
McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Doritos, right? They've done stuff like that.
Right, but see, McDonald's needs Coca-Cola and Doritos to create their menu. They don't need them to create their menu. They're elevating a dish within
And actually,
their menu.
Doritos wouldn't be part of that because that's a Pepsi product. So.
Correct, and it wouldn't be there, but Doritos would go to
Doritos
Taco
is,
Bell, but that's a
Taco
whole
Bell.
Taco Bell,
nother-
Pizza Hut, Kentucky Fried
Look,
Chicken,
again,
Hot and
a
Now,
whole nother
Lay's.
podcast.
Must be dinner time. We're talking food instead of diecast, and what an amazing.
Right.
Starting to get hungry. Where's the food?
I know, where's the food? But no, today was incredible, guys. And I mean, there was so much fun, and it was from the jump, right? Opening ceremonies had so much energy, had so much fun, right? You had a ton of just great things happening and going on with that. And then once we got past the opening ceremonies, and then you had Jada Toys unveiling their new partnership with Majorette, talking about crossovers. And then it just spiraled from there and it took off, and you had Hot Wheels coming in and showing us some really cool stuff. We got to see the stuff we talked about with IXO and Neverland and with Greenlight.
That Jada Majorette thing, that was big. That broke on Comic-Con.com, didn't it?
It did. You were on that story. We got to give a lot of credit to this guy. He was one of the first people to have information out in a publication in regards to when that happened. And what happened was Majorette wanted to make the announcement in conjunction with the Nuremberg Toy Show, which was in Germany. So what they did was they made the domestic announcement at 10 a.m. Pacific West Coast time to fall directly in line with the exact moment the Majorette was announcing it. And you guys and a couple other outlets, I believe Diecast Breakdown, the Diecast Network, they were able to also push out content at that time about it. We saw a few other influencers that were able to jump on it pretty quick. But there was a period of time, 2-3 weeks, right, Chuck? So like 3 weeks that we had no idea what they were doing. And everybody's going, what is Jada up to? And you know what? I'm going to bring you up here. Come on up.
grab
Jada.
that microphone right
Grab
on the
that mic right here on your way by.
There's a
You'll see
microphone
it.
in the stand
Yeah,
right
on
there.
the stand.
To
Keep
the left
coming.
there. Keep coming.
Almost.
Keep coming. There you go.
There you go. Grab that. You might have to turn it on.
You gotta
might
do
have
it
turned it
Yeah,
on.
turn it on.
Yeah, there's a power switch on. That's just how microphones work.
There you go.
Hey, hey,
Should be
hey.
green. Hey.
Hey, so real quick, this is Chuck with Diecast Breakdown.
Hey, hey.
Their team is incredible and what they do. And they've been a big part of everything we're doing because these guys have been chronologically us. They've been following what's going on. They've been following the stuff that's happening. And something that, when we're talking a rap show, we didn't have one last night. But something happened last night that was a lot of fun, right?
Oh yeah. What happened last night?
He doesn't
the
remember.
VIP
tour?
tour.
Being,
the tour.
being
Oh,
in
the
Vegas.
VIP tour.
I mean, you gotta be more specific. There was like 4 major things that happened last night. So I'm like, okay, well, which one was it? Was it meeting Peter Brock? Because that was amazing. And it was touring Atomic Motors because that was amazing. And the Toy Shack and House of Cards Las Vegas. I mean, it was sensory overload, man. I was just like, and we given this guy's giving us the nickel tour of Las Vegas. Like, I mean, just like, dude, if this car thing doesn't ever work out for you, tour guide, man, you were just tearing it up, man. I was just like, wow, he is a natural. I mean, I can see why they have you on TV.
Oh, thank you very much, and I appreciate it. But you guys were out, and you guys covered us doing the VIP tour.
Yep.
You guys
Yep.
shot a ton of content. You got a ton of information.
Absolutely.
Got that experience with Peter Brock, which, by the way, you had to be there in person to really be able to take that whole thing in. But to understand that Peter Brock took the time to sign for every single person
Absolutely.
on the tour.
Super down
Well,
to
and
earth, super cool guy. And a living legend. I mean, Carroll Shelby's first employee, the split window Stingray, the Shelby Daytona, first to beat Ferrari in the Ford versus Ferrari game. I mean, incredible man, incredible legend. And he's just hanging out with us and, signing whatever it is we put in front of him. I got his AeroVault trailer that Greenlight released, and he was so tickled that I've got something that he designed recently. And the guy's, I don't know what his age is, but he's been around a long time, and he's still designing, and he's still doing it old school clay style, quarter scale, and then using the new tech to have it done. And just what a mind to just be so brilliant, and then so down to earth and so kind to, we're just coming into his property and just like, hey, we're here, we like you. And he was like, okay, cool, I'll sign anything, I'll talk to you. Super nice guy.
You know what was cool, and it's unfortunate, they didn't give access to the back of the warehouse, and I understood why.
Yeah.
Because he has a current sculpture that was actually in the back of the warehouse that he'd been working on, which means it's in the
Yeah.
Embargoed.
NDA.
Zip.
Nobody can see, no one can touch.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough that when I went over to set up the tour, I was invited over by Gail Brock, which talk about someone who's incredible in this industry and business. What a great presenter. She presented that
Oh, yeah.
last night on the tour so incredibly well.
There's such a great partnership, and it's like they were finishing each other's sentences.
Yes.
She knows every detail of his career, I'm sure they've been together long enough, but there was a crisis that was happening too. We were about to turn our tour into a search party for their little dog because right
I
when
was
we showed up, the
genuinely
dog
worried
ran out
about
the
that
door.
dog.
And they were both standing there going, okay, well, we're going to send somebody out to deal with that. While we're sitting here still talking to you about all these great things, the dog was found. No dogs were harmed during the VIP tour. But one of the things that blew my mind, that actually was probably the jewel of the tour for me. Because on our show, Who the F is Frank, just a couple weeks ago, we were talking about the 330 P4.
Yes.
And here's Peter Brock, who designed the car that pissed off Enzo so much that he turned his P3 into a P4, right? And we just went through this whole thing, and they let me just nerd out on this car for a whole segment. And then we show up at this guy's garage, and I'm looking around at the pictures, I'm like, are you kidding me?
Dude, and when I went over to set up the tour, I got to go in the back. Fortunately, everyone on the tour didn't get to go, but what you got to see on the tour was already mind-blowing, right? I walked in, though, and my experience, and I love this, is I walk in the back, Gail meets me in the front, we have a little talk, she shows me the shop and everything, and then she takes me back, and then I see the trailer, the full-size real trailer is back there, the first one he built is back there, And so we go around the trailer, and I come around, and there's Peter Brock, and he's got this sculpture, and it's got to be 14, 16 inches in length. And he's carving the whole time while I'm there. And then finally he stops, puts his stuff down, and I'm like, I'm watching one of the all-time greats do the craft that no one gets to watch do. That was such a cool moment for me because all of that stuff is secret. All of the stuff they're working on is secret. And then they go, oh, well, hold on. Let me show you how we unearthed one of the original 510s out of a junkyard in Arizona, and it is sitting in the back of that warehouse, sitting there, rusted as they found it. There's been this discussions, do we restore it? Do we want to keep it as is? My vote was keep it as it is. The patina is
It's the
the
history.
character.
You can't fake that. People
Right.
try all the time to fake patina, and it can't be done. I mean, you can get pretty close, but real patina, real history on that car. You know, I'm all for keeping stuff as a piece of history. Like when the Corvette Museum, when they had that sinkhole and they had the cars fall into it, and you were there, okay, yeah, and they kept that one as is, like kept it, and I think that's really cool because that's part of the car's story. That's part of the history. And yeah, it's sad it got destroyed or totaled out or whatever. But what an interesting story too. I mean, how many Corvettes have fallen into a sinkhole? Like 5 or 6 apparently. But that one specifically, it's just again, you can't fake character. It's got to be earned.
So I just want to say, we only have a few minutes left here, but I want to point out for the folks who are reading or for viewing at home who are streaming this, you can't buy tickets on the internet anymore, but there are some tickets available at the door. There's some pretty amazing stuff going on here over the next several days. There is the customs contest. I've seen some of the cars up there in Johnny's little spot. And you were talking about the bedazzling. Somebody took a Tesla truck and took it out and bedazzled the truck and bedazzled the back card and stuff. There's some really creative stuff going on up there. There's, categories for kids all the way through pros. That's one of the cool things that's happening. We're gonna have panels all day tomorrow. This is a really fantastic show, and both floors have so much going on. When you make your way down here, you are going to be overwhelmed. But the celebrities that are coming in, you're talking about real street racers, but we're also going to have the guys from Fast and Furious here, Cesar and
we got
Noel,
Cesar
and
Garcia,
Chad.
Noel G, Chad Lindbergh. Plus, we've got a bunch of other people. We got some first-time guests that we've never had at the show. So Dan Fraga, who worked on the actual cartoon versions for Mattel of Hot Wheels, and also worked on Monster High, as well as many other credits, comic book artists and stuff. He's here as well, first time attending the show.
Nice.
We've got Ryan Ochoa and the Ochoa brothers will be in the building from iCarly and everything that they do, which is cool because, again, we're crossing over those industries because the show going into Sunday becomes the All Toy Show. And so then all toys are here, and where we sit right now becomes a vendor marketplace on top of all the vendors that are already here. So we expand that show floor on Sunday after we do the Hall of Honor Saturday night. Now, I'd be remiss to not mention this, and it's very important to me, and I'll always mention this to us, that last year we lost someone very dear to our heart, which was Tom Sanfratello. He's a police officer, Genesee County Sheriff's Department in upstate Buffalo, New York. He was also my floor manager, and I say mine, but I should say our floor manager, and personal friend of us. And I'll be honest, he was a brother. He wasn't a friend. And he was lost in the line of duty on a concert duty that he was doing. And it's a somber weekend for us, but it's also a beautiful weekend as well because we're celebrating the life of Tom. So you'll notice in our stage set just up here that Tom's uniform hangs. And then if you go into our merch area of the shop, we have 2 other shirts of his, one of which was the last shirt that he wore with us as a staff member of the show. And then you'll also find that he was a big Buffalo Sabres and Bills fan. And there is a Bills chain up there that was bought as the new thing for our team to remember Tom by. His family is in attendance. His son Ian, his fiancee Nicole Lynn is here. And there's a big celebration, especially on Saturday night for the Hall of Honor. But Tom is heavily, heavily missed. We miss him very much. Don't want to wrap this on a down note, but it really is a celebratory time with Tom. We've had time to grieve. We've had time to do those things. We want to celebrate the things that Tom brought forth. And one of the things the Hall of Honor did this year is it accepted a new award, which is called the Tom Sanfratello Impact Award. And it recognizes someone that's doing something positive in their local community and in the hobby community. So couldn't think of anyone better that's been selected for that, and you'll be able to see that selection on Saturday night right here on this stage for the Hall of Honor. And with that, I think they're telling us it's about time we got to wrap it up.
It is time. So the floor is, this portion of the show is over, but there's a couple after parties, and every night there's an after party. So I think I'm going to go to my room, change my shirt, because I have a different hat and shirt and shoes for this evening, because that's how I roll. But that is our time for the day. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you everybody who's involved. Thank you to all the vendors and manufacturers. We've had a great time. We'll see you tomorrow.
Make sure you push over real quick. Go to the Diecast Breakdown channel.
Yep.
Chuck and the guys are going to be on, and they're
We'll
going to
be
be
live.
live right here.
Yep. So stick around, and we'll see you there.
Let's go.
And clear. We're not clear, though. We're still live. Don't pick your nose yet.
Oh.